Gravel Royale Stage 2, this is not how your bike should look.
Okay, Stage 2 of Gravel Royale is done, and I am hiding in my tent in one of these huge Rocky Mountain rainstorms, thunderstorms. You can probably hear it. Hopefully you can hear me in this little take. My day was adventure. First off, I got to ride today because while we could not find a shifter, the mechanic here was able to do some MacGyver mechanic and build a new spring for my shifter. So I headed out being like, shift gently and shift only when you really need to. So that was great. Start was a gentle uphill on some pretty beefy gravel roads. I made some errors with my pacing early on and ended up isolated, which really, it would have been nice to have been with a group of people, but got to the top of pass and oh my gosh, it was beautiful again. And then we got on this unbelievably fun single track descent, and it wasn't very steep, but it was pretty technical. There were trees you had to wiggle around and shrubs and a whole bunch of creek crossings. Almost all of them you could ride through, and just roots and rocks, and it was a mountain biker's dream on a gravel bike. Totally had a blast. And then my bike got attacked by a stick. Super unfortunate because my bike lost.
Derailleur ripped off my frame and the sprocket stuck in the spokes.
And the giant stick ended up ripping the derailleur off my bike and putting it into two pieces. So trail side, I got to turn my bike into a single speed.
Note, no derailleur and in a really easy gear.
And I'm pretty proud that I have the skills and the tools to break my chain, shorten my chain, take my derailleur off, break my cable, duct tape to attach it to my frame. And I chose my third smallest gear because, man, for the bulk of this race, if I'm climbing, I am in my absolute smallest gear. Wishing I had smaller gears because I'm just having to rock a pretty high cadence to get up stuff. So that was my best choice. Turned out it was not the best choice, just because not long after that, I popped out of the single track and we got on really well-traveled gravel roads that were flat to slightly downward trending. And I think I had like 15 miles of that before I got to aid station number 2, which for the most part I was coasting. Occasionally it would tip up a little bit and I'd be able to pedal, but for the most part, even with 130-ish cadence, not using my gears. So that was rough, but it was fine. I got to talk to people. I helped a rider who was having a horrible day with flat. She was on her third flat. She was at her wit's end, didn't have any more CO2s, didn't have a pump, had already used her tube. So I had cartridges, plugs, tubes, pump, all the things to help her. That felt really good.
Obviously, no fun was had during that flat repair.
Got into aid station number 2 and cheered riders as they came in and got snacks and did their thing, and then hopped in the truck and got brought back to Nipika to start to source parts to put my bike together for yet another day. And amazingly, they do have a derailleur for me. I have a backup chain and derailleur hanger, and it was really hard to get my sprocket, got all stuck in my in the spokes of my wheel, and I was able to get it out without breaking a spoke. I don't know how. I did cut my hand pretty good, so spent a little time in the med tent for that as well. They put me together great. They're awesome. But did not damage a spoke. My wheel's still true. It's amazing. So even though I will no longer officially be in the race, I'll get to race the next stages. So that's pretty awesome. Stage racing, man. One of these days, I'm gonna get to show off my riding someday. Someday. Keep at it. Magic will happen one of these days. I know it. At least it was really fun and so beautiful. And everybody was great. So, yay.